Now, when I give you guys examples, you have to look at these examples and just think, does this suit my personality? Does this type of date suit the type of girl I generally will go on a date with? Because if it doesn't, if it's totally mismatched to who you are, it doesn't make sense to, say, copy one of these dates. These are just examples of my dates that I'd go on. So this is my, I shouldn't admit this to the women. I probably went on about 50 dates of this one. And what I'd do is I'd go to the same cafe every time for a bite to eat. And we would meet. So this is just a first date, right? This isn't like first, second, third, fourth, fifth date. Four girls at the same cafe every time. This is just the first date. And I would know in this cafe, there'd be things I could talk about the cafe. There'd be things I could talk about on the menu. I'd know the girls that would work there, have a good conversation. And from there, what we'd do is I'd say, you know what? There's a really cool bar just down the road. Like, they generally have like a band playing, but it's not like a loud, annoying band. It's like a chilled out, funky band, usually playing jazz or something. Let's go down there and grab a drink. Taking control. I know where I want to go. I've got a plan. Let's go grab a drink. We'd go down to the bar. We'd have a drink. We'd chill out, we'd have a bit of a chat, maybe play a game of pool. And then I'd say, you know what, it's really nice outside. Let's go for a walk, because it was on the beach. Let's go for a walk on the beach. So we'd go for a walk down the beach. We'd walk down to the really quiet, secluded area of the beach where no one's around and no one can see us. And I'd turn around and start walking back to the beginning again. So we'd walk back to the beginning of the walk. And as we were at the beginning of the walk, like where we started off, like just where the beach starts, I'd make out with her. I'd start making out with her, and about 4 or 5 minutes, I'd break it off and say, you know what? I really enjoyed myself tonight. I've got to get going, but we have to catch up soon. Now, when I would say, let's catch up again, when I'd call her up and say, hey, let's catch up again, I've left it on a very high note. When she says, what do I think about Damien? What's my experience of a date with Damien? What was the last thing I was feeling? Yeah, aroused, kind of like really heated, and yeah, I'll go on a date with him again. Now, I learned this because I did this date over and over and over and over again. And what I learned was that if I made out with her in the quiet end of the walk, we'd walk back, and you know that like after you've made out, after you've done something like that, it's all kind of awkward and weird. So the whole walk back is awkward and weird. Like you're holding hands and it's nice, but it's like, you know, and then you get back to the beginning and you end the date and you've had all this weirdness, and that becomes her feeling. Oh, I liked him, I was interested in him, but it's a bit awkward between us. So I wouldn't get as much traction the second time around. Now, the other thing was that when I'd invite ladies on this date, I had already screened them. I had already let them know I'm not interested in being in a relationship. They already knew that about me. So when I'd invite them on a second date, it'd be movie night at my place. Because I'd left it on a high note, that became something that was okay to do. Yeah?
How did you let them know that?
That's a topic for another night, really. But no, I will answer the question very briefly, and I won't give a lot of explanation around the edge. Very simply, if I'm talking to someone, a woman, in an interaction, I'm interested in her. At a certain point in the interaction, I'm going to explain where I'm at. Now, I'll disclosure, I'm in a relationship now. I've been in a relationship for like 3.5 years. But if I'm single, 4.5 years, Jesus, if I'm single, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what? You know what I really love right now is because I'm single, I get to just focus on my work and my career, and I get to be really selfish, and I get to learn about who I am. I'm really enjoying that right now. I'm in this space, because it was honest. I'm in this space where I'm just getting to know me and trying to work out what I like and what I don't like. And there's no one who's going to get in the way of what I want to do with business or what I want to do with my private life. I really like that place right now. Does that make sense? I put it forwards, that's where I was at. And you know what? Sometimes I'd say it to a girl and she'd lose interest. But that was okay, because I didn't want to be with someone who I was going to hurt down the line, who was looking for different things. That was okay. So of course it doesn't work every time. It's not meant to.
Where would you typically meet these?
Everywhere. 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 But good question. Yeah, that's another night. So that was but I'll give you some other ideas, because a date just has to be interesting. That even wasn't even particularly interesting. This was in the beginning when I was working on myself on my dating stuff. Here's another date, and this is literally taken on location. What I would do is I'd meet a girl at Kirribilli. I'd park at Kirribilli, and I'd meet her at Kirribilli in the afternoon. And this is where I'd park my car. I was parked there in the afternoon. Then what we'd do is I'd say, you know what? Let's go for a walk across the bridge. I haven't been for a walk across the bridge in ages, which is really why I invited her out on the date in the first place. Let's go for a walk across the harbour bridge. It's different. Who the hell goes for a walk across the bridge? It's next to the city. It's easy to get to. So we'd meet. I'd meet her at Kirribilli. We'd go for a walk across the bridge. Get to the other end of the bridge and say, you know what? I'm starving. Let's go have a bite to eat at Pancakes on the Rocks. So go to Pancakes on the Rocks. We'd grab a bite to eat. We'd walk back, and now it's starting to get dark. We get back to the car, because I say I'll give her a lift to the station or whatever. That's fine. And what's the view like from the car? Not so shabby. Does that make sense? A daytime date. Not every date has to be about sex and sexual escalation. I'm just putting these ideas in your head. A daytime date. There is, in Neutral Bay, there is a really awesome cupcake store. If you like cupcakes or you like sweets, which I do, these cupcakes are epic. Can't tell you. Not because I can't tell you. I literally don't know the name. Nobody in the audience knows the name. It's on Ben Boyd Road, I believe. Anyway, no, it's in Ben Boyd Road. You can find it there. It's just on the corner. It's a little cupcake store. And I would talk it up. I'd be talking to this girl, say, you know what? There is this epic cupcake store, blah, 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 blah. And then I would say, well, you know what? Let's totally go there and grab a cupcake. That'd be our date. We'd meet. We'd go to the cupcake store, get cupcakes. And then I'd take her down to, does anyone know where this is? Just by the zoo. That's the zoo. That's the zoo wharf. But down there are a whole bunch of little beaches along a walkway, which is a really nice place to put down a blanket, eat cupcakes, and have a chat. It's not about getting dirty during the daytime. It's about actually having a nice, interesting date somewhere different. They're still close to everything. These things like this are all over Sydney. And it doesn't have to be, don't forget, you don't have to make a first date sexual. It's not about that. But it's about doing something that's different, something that stands out. That first date I gave you doesn't really stand out that much. It was just the first thing that I did, the first date that I got right. You can make it a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary. It doesn't matter what part of Sydney you're from or what part of Sydney you go to. I guarantee you there's a good little date plan for you there.
Hey guys, do you get frustrated approaching women and then getting rejected? I'd like to invite you to my free 12-video training series where I'm going to show you how to make such an amazing first impression before you even say a word that rejection will soon become a thing of the past. See that button down there? Don't procrastinate anymore. Go ahead and click on it, and I look forward to working with you.